You know, it must have been truly a remarkable and shocking scene. You know, we always talk about something that happens and it takes our breath away. Could you imagine Jeremiah standing there hidden in the mountains, looking down toward Jerusalem and seeing, 2,000 years of tradition smoldering in ruins? Everything he's ever known, all the people he's ever known destroyed. And he cries and he laments. In fact, one whole book of the Bible is called The Lamentations of Jeremiah, where it just overwhelms him emotionally, physically, psychologically. He can't believe it was all there and then it's all gone. And he cries to the Lord and he asks God, why? Were we that bad? Had we become that corrupt, that evil? And with a heart broken, the Lord answers, yes, you have. And Jeremiah asks him again, so all is lost? And the Lord says, not quite all. There will be a remnant, a few, who I will gather again together. And I will make a new covenant, not like I made with the fathers in the desert after I brought them out of Egypt. There the laws were written on stone and tablets and right before them, and still they couldn't uphold them. This time I'm going to write my laws in their minds and on their hearts. It will be a living faith, a living covenant, a living promise between me, their Lord, and my children. Living by the law is sometimes hard, isn't it? How many of you actually go 40 down Howell Branch? Remember, you're in the house of the Lord.
Got a $200 ticket.
Mm-hmm. How many of you actually slow down and yield on that yellow light? Brandy, I've driven behind you. And Robin, she just stops at the red and then goes through anyway. I hate to say it, but Robin, you're a bigger man than I. Laws are hard to live by, and I think the Lord made that quite plain. I gave them my law, and boy, were we that bad? Oh yeah, you were that bad. I found a couple of laws that still exist to this day. And I want to tell you how hard it is to live to some of these laws today. Just a little levity here. Do you know that in Kentucky, if you're ever in the great state of Kentucky, it is illegal to transport an ice cream cone in your pocket?
Illegal, right?
Evidently, at one time, that was a problem. People sneaking a double scooper or something. And they've made a law against it. So, none of you, if you have ice cream, keep it out. No concealed ice cream permits. In Nebraska, now pay attention to this, parents. In Nebraska, the parent can be arrested if their child cannot hold back a burp during the sermon. You let one go, mom's going to the slammer. That's in Nebraska, by the way. In Zion, Illinois, these are laws that we live by, or at least should live by. It is illegal to give a lighted cigar to a dog, cat, or other pet.
Not to mention stupid.
Evidently in Illinois, they like to see their dogs smoking cigars. Ohio, Bexley, Ohio. This is just stupid. Bexley, Ohio, Ordinance 223 on the books prohibits the installation or usage of slot machines in outhouses. I know why you're going out to that outhouse all the time. You're out there.
I remind Kevin not to put one in his.
In Gary, Indiana, This is true to this day. It is illegal to go to a movie, a theater, or to ride on public transportation within 4 hours of eating garlic.
That's a good one.
Gary, Indiana, boy, you're going to eat garlic, you're walking. Nobody wants to sit next to you.
That's right.
Well, not that Florida should be outdone. We too have a law. In the state of Florida, may the God rest and bless. It is a very specific law that prohibits unmarried women from parachuting on Sunday in a skirt. Jesse, you wait till tomorrow to go parachuting in a skirt. God don't want to see that glory. That's a real law in Florida. And lastly, this one I am glad of. This is why I don't live in West Virginia. We think that's like almost heaven, right? West Virginia? Not so. In West Virginia, Nicholas County and specifically, it is illegal for a member of the clergy to tell jokes or any humorous stories from the pulpit. Penalty is 6 months in jail for each story. Lordy, Lordy, I am screwed. Almost heaven, my eye. It's hard to live by the law, isn't it? God gave them only 10 and they still couldn't do it. Absolutely amazing. We're going to talk about, our goal for this Easter season is to end the distance between God and ourselves, to make that pilgrimage, to grow ever closer. And sometimes it's those rules and regs that get in the way, isn't it? Sometimes, and we talked last week about the obstacles that prevent us from finding God. Well, it's often ourselves, isn't it? We know what to do, but we don't do it, or we know what not to do, and we do it anyway. And we become the biggest obstacle in our lives. Today we're going to talk about how can we move towards God in accordance with His law and still go the distance, still make the journey. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. I would like you to stand one final time, stretch your legs.